everybody, and welcome back to the Average Film Enjoyer podcast. We are your average film enjoyers, Trey and Jagger. Jagger, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Messed up movie, but I'm doing fine.
Yeah, yeah, we are back with another episode of Hooptober. Today we are reviewing the house that Jack built, which I can't remember who directed it.
Lars
Um,
von Trier, the
yeah,
weirdest
It's
director.
Von Trier film with Matt Dillon came out in 2019, I believe.
18. 18?
Um,
Maybe it's
2018,
18.
2019, something like that.
Something.
Uh, and yeah, so this is a really odd one. It's one that I personally really enjoy. Yeah, so Lars von Trier also directed like Dogville, Antichrist, Melancholia, Dancer in the Dark. He's just a weird dude. Um, but this is one. I don't know. Why, Jagger? Why don't you go in with your opening thoughts? Because I'm still thinking about what I want to say.
So I just want to quickly know, what'd you rate this?
If I'm not mistaken, I have it. Yeah, I have it at a 4.5.
Alright, so I had this at a 4, and this again, and it goes down that same vein that is like funny games type of thing, where part of it doesn't feel like a movie, and you just feel like you're
Mm-hmm.
watching like a recording of what's actually happening, and it's
Yeah.
really like, because a lot of movies, if someone gets killed, it's gonna be really like dramatic, over the top, kind of wacky sort of kill, you know? Like if you watch something like Terrifier, you can laugh at it.
100%. Yeah.
When that kid is running through that field and he shoots it, and it actually looks like that kid's leg just like got, like, it's not a big like dramatic shot to the leg. It's like a tight little, and it's like, ugh. Like, I don't want to think about it. And I think that that's what this movie really uses to its advantage. Its complete like ew factor. And I
100%.
and it's weird to say it after following that it also has a little bit of humor. Um and it's really strange. Very, very
Yeah.
strange, which seems to be a Von Trier staple. And I read a
Yeah.
review that said, credits roll, directed by Lars von Trier, girl we know. And I think that's a it's a good way to phrase it, because it is so strange. Because it really like gets in the head of the character. It's a great character study, and I think that that's very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I this film I haven't watched it in a while. I think I watched it back in April, I think. But it's definitely stuck with me. Um, it's I remember a good because it just impressed me so much. It really caught me by surprise. First of all, Matt Dillon. I have a list of like the most underrated actors working today,
And he's
and
on that list.
Matt Dillon is like on the top of that list. He does not get enough recognition, and he is so damn good in everything he's in. Um, and this movie caught me by surprise because it's so much different than the way it goes about, like, I don't know, it feels much more intelligent than a lot, because obviously this is about like a serial killer horror. Um and the way it does it feels more intelligent, and because the whole thing is like he's kind of looking at killing like an art form. Um
That
you
final
know,
that final moment
and
really shows that.
yeah, and that idea I feel like is throughout the whole film, like everything, and it feels very, I don't know, and maybe that's why everything is so undramatic. I think usually like usually dramatic, the more dramatic, the more big it is, the more it'll freak you out. But this it feels so raw and so real. because nothing's like over the top. It's like what would actually happen, you know?
Like that part where he hits Uma Thurman with the car jack. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing at all exaggerated about any of it.
No.
And I think that's the real horror of it, that even in your realistic horror movie, there's always something dramatic to snap you back to no, this is just a movie. Like, don't worry,
Exactly.
this movie doesn't do that.
Exactly. And I think that's because like we're watching this through this through Jack's perspective. And because this is him telling like he's tell I can't remember if it's like 3 or 4 stories of it because he's killed
I think it's
up
5
it's 5 stories because he's killed like 80 people and here like but he's like but here are 5 like
of
of
my
my best.
and he like he's very proud of it. So he's like going to tell you how it is because he thinks that this is like a genuine achievement.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I and it's
in the
eh,
end, spoilers, in the end he crafts all the dead bodies into a house, the house that Jack built, by like freezing the dead bodies so that he can position them to make a piece of art out of these dead bodies. That is a concerning thing to look at.
yeah.
But then again, it's all been built up to in a very, very almost poetic film that is so disturbing and hard to watch that you're almost impressed by the fact that the director achieved that
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this movie what it is and why it gets so much praise. And what was it? It was almost 100 people that walked out of the theater when they premiered it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That doesn't surprise me. And do you know what's strange?
What?
It's like the film it's disturbing and it's terrifying and it's all these things, but it's kind of beautiful in a terrifying way and a gross way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um it's it's a really I think it's a really really interesting film that I think we could have a full like hour long episode on and really like go into it and break it down. Obviously that's not what we're doing for Hooptober, but
100
it's a
plus
really
audience members walked out during the premiere, though a 10-minute standing ovation followed it by the people that stayed. And that makes sense. But
yeah.
yeah, this is a movie that we could go into so much detail on because
Yeah,
it's a
this is a
movie.
movie that is
Yeah,
not for everybody.
no, absolutely not. And it's a movie that's going to gross a lot of people out because I know people that can watch like a rough horror movie, but when you
Mhm.
show something this real, there's something that you don't want to watch about it. And I know that we don't really do high low on these at all,
Yeah.
but there's a movie I watched by Harmony Korine called Trash Humpers, and
Yeah, I saw you. You finally got around to that.
it feels just like this in the fact that there was a genuine like speculation lawsuit that the body shown in the movie was a real dead body that Harmony Korine pulled in cuz it's shot on a VHS camera to make it feel
Mhm.
real. And
Yeah.
if you took away that filter, it'd still feel real, but you get a product a lot more close to the house that Jack built. And I think that's the best way I can phrase it.
Yeah.
That it is disturbing, but not in a way that Terrifier or something like, I don't know, Videodrome or The Fly is disturbing, where it feels like, oh, that's so gory. Because don't get me wrong, there's blood in this movie, but
Yeah.
not as much as you'd expect for a movie that makes you feel this
I
bothered.
think what's disturbing about it is how cavalier he is
Yeah,
about the killings.
it's so nonchalant and it's
And
terrifying.
you're just staring at the screen just like what the fuck?
And he's like
It's
wiping off his glasses and like adjusting his pillow while you're grossed out by what just happened. And they really put prominence on his OCD, which I think is a great way that they did it. Um,
yeah,
because as someone with minor OCD, I understand a lot of where he's coming from, but at the same time, you cannot follow up the most disgusting moment in film history with a man adjusting his sheet and make it that incredibly done. You can't do that. It's not
yeah.
cool. However, it's so well done, and Matt Dillon plays the role so perfectly. Um, and I read a review because I was reading about this movie like on genuinely critical articles. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard someone say that if you took have you seen the Dahmer show? Evan Peters one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They said if you took that concept of showing off a real serial killer and made it fictitious, then you'd get the house that Jack built. And the way they phrased it was like, I found it to be really true. Where if you took that and you show how what he's doing is insane and showing like a bad part of society that really exists and made
Mm-hmm.
it tasteful in a way that you're not actually bothering any families of victims or like bringing them back to a horrible time, and you
Yeah.
showed the importance of showing what a serial killer is in a tasteful manner, then you'd get the house that Jack built. And I think that that makes a lot of sense. And I think that the way they showed that is true. And I think
Yeah.
that if that's the reason that they made the movie, that's pretty smart. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that. But yeah, is this a horror movie? Yes,
100%.
very much so. I don't understand the argument against that.
Is
But
there arguments against that?
yeah, there's people saying that this is like not a horror movie, that this is like a thriller. And I don't understand that.
I disagree
This is a horror
completely.
movie through and through. Now, is it a traditional horror? No. But is it a non
Mm-mm.
conventional horror that I think is totally important to watch as either a fan of horror or someone that would like to understand the point of why a movie about a serial killer is made in a way that's just bothersome enough, but still done tastefully and done in a very
Yeah.
intelligent manner. So I think that this movie is an important movie that should
Well,
be
and
viewed.
you should watch it if you're into film at all. Like, this is just a masterfully made piece of film.
Yes. And even though I did give it 4 stars, I recommend this heavier than some movies that I've given 5 stars. Um, or more heavily. My bad, I said heavier. I recommend this more heavily than a movie I would give 5 stars
Yeah.
because I think that this is genuinely a film that you should watch. So that's all I really had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today on yet another episode of Hooptober. This will be coming out tomorrow, I believe.
Is this
So
tomorrow? I'm actually gonna check
I
what day
thought,
this is. Hooptober
yeah,
2023. Yep, this
it
is
should
coming
be
out
coming out.
tomorrow. Yeah, this
So
is the
once this
ninth.
episode is out and you're listening to this tomorrow, which is Tuesday, will be our next IMDb episode, where we will be reviewing the Battle of Algiers. And you can also be looking forward to tomorrow a Hooptober review of An American Werewolf in London. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe to our channel. Go check out the link in our bio to look at our merch. We have a bunch of merch out. We should have some House That Jack Built merch out now. We should have audition merch, funny games merch, just loads of merch. Go, please buy us. Please, no, don't buy us. Please buy our merch.
We're not for sale.
Um, yeah, we are not for sale. Um, it depends. Like if you're gonna pay like $1 million, you can have me. Um, but yeah, I am Trey, the film noob on Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. He is Jagger Film Fan on Letterboxd, Jagger Film Reviews on TikTok, and Jagger the Movie Guy on Instagram and Twitch. So again, thank you for joining us today on the Average Film Enjoyer, and we will see you next time.